All right, so we're back. So arms coming across the body. I'm leading with the thumb, comes up and around. Now, as it gets overhead, I'm just sitting down so you can see. So my thumb's backwards at this point. I want to turn my hands so my thumb's pointing forwards. And then I continue back. And you want to try and get your arm as far behind you as possible, as you can see. And then it comes all the way down. Yeah. So same again, coming this way. So the hand's coming across. I'm leading with the thumb up. It's going to come up. And at that point, thumb's pointing backwards. And I turn the hand over so the thumb's pointing forwards as I continue all the way back and around. Yeah, so you can feel how much of a big circle you've got. You're trying to make this huge circle in the air. And then try the other side. So like I said, this is just a test. We're not doing anything too exciting here. Same on the other side. So leading with the thumb, across the body, open around, passes the ear at that point, and sit down again. Turning the thumb forward and making that big circle at the back. And we'll go one more in this direction. So nice and steady. Controlled articular rotation. Thumb forward. And it goes all the way back. Right, so I'm hoping if I turn here, I'm hoping you can see, look at that backwards movement. You see how the arm is going behind me, yeah? So it looks like I've got a great range of movement. So the wall, and I'm going to demonstrate, and then you can, if you can see me and do your own wall, great. But otherwise watch, and then I'll show you what's what. So you can stand for this. I'm going to kneel just so I can keep my head on the screen. Doesn't matter, all right? So now if I block my body's movement, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left arm against the wall, and I'm just side of my body against the wall. Watch what happens now, right? So I can get the arm up to here. Now I can't get it behind me at all. You see how it's coming out to the side? I'm not getting that backwards bit. It's coming out to the side. So what that's doing, it's telling you exactly how much range of movement you've actually got when you're not allowing your body to cheat. So go and play with a wall. You only need to do one. You just kind of experience actually how much your body moves. So I'll demonstrate again. I'll do it on the other side. I'm taking my right arm just slightly behind me, and then I'm putting my shoulder against the wall and my hip so I can't twist my body. Then I'm taking the hand up and around and going, oh, why can I not get my arm past my ear anymore? It just comes out to the side. Have a play with your wall and see if you can feel the difference. Much of tonight is going to be an exploration for us anyway. It's experimentation, it's exploration, and you come back. So give me a thumbs up if your range of movement was better. Give me a thumbs down if your range of movement suddenly was crap. You're like, oh my God. So the point of this is you don't really realize how little or how much shoulder range of movement you've lost until you block out your body's cheating mechanism. So your body's cheating, essentially. All right, so we're going to sort it. I'm going to improve our range of motion. So let's start off with, we're actually going to start off with rib cage breathing. And I'm going to try and encourage you to open the ribs, and there's a reason for that. So grab your strap. For those of you that did it last time, I'm mixing it up a little bit. I didn't want to just repeat the same workshop. So there's some stuff that's the same and some stuff that's not. So it doesn't matter how you sit, just find a comfy position. You sit on a chair or your towel or whatever. You're going to bring your strap behind you, and it's going to come under bosom. So if you're a girl, it's going to go bra strap level. If you're a boy, it's going to be heart rate monitor level. And I've just loosely crossed it at the front. That's all I'm doing, loosely crossed it. And I'm just using my fingertips to put a little bit of, what would you call it? A little bit of tension on there. So I can feel it, but I'm not blocking my breathing capacity. So when you breathe into the rib cage, if I breathe now, I should expand the belt And then as I breathe out, it should come back in again. So as I breathe in, my ribs expand, and as I breathe out, the belt tightens again. So it's just a feedback mechanism. See if you can get your ribs to expand out to the sides. So just have a play with the breathing. I'm just going to come a bit closer so you can see what's happening with mine. Weirdest thing. So as I breathe in, it expands, and as I breathe out, I'm using the band to give you the feedback. But I'm trying to get you to bring your breath down into your rib cage as opposed to breathing into your shoulders. So if our breath is up here, you can press in your neck with every in-breath because your shoulders are lifting towards your ears. If you can drop the breath down into the ribs, each time you breathe in, not only are you breathing into the side of the ribs, but you're breathing into the back of the ribs. And what that does is mobilize your spine in that area. So if you're one of these people that's kind of worried about this shape coming on, by opening up the breath into the ribs, you can start to mobilize that part of your upper back so that you stay more upright. All right. So if your head's exploding with the rib cage breathing, don't worry about it too much. Just as I keep cueing you, see if you can breathe into the ribs a little bit more. So on that basis, I'm going to give ourselves a hug. So I'm going to turn to the back so you can see where I'm trying to get hold of. So I'm going to wrap one arm on top of the other, and I'm trying to reach as far around as I can, trying to get hold of my shoulder blades, or hands on shoulder blades. You don't need to get hold of them. But big hug. Now, while you're here, you should be able to feel now your arms are essentially the strap. So breathe in and see if it's almost like I'm trying to breathe in and I'm trying to pull apart my shoulder blades. You should feel that mobilization happening at the spine. So same again, I'm going to come close so you can see. Trying to find some breath into the ribs. And then from there, with your arms, your elbows down, you're going to drop the head forward and your spine. So sideways on, head nods, and I'm rounding my spine forward. So I'm almost like blocking out my tummy and then breathing again into the back of the ribs. So inhale, expand the ribs, and then exhale. One more. And then straighten the spine back up. And you're going to lift your elbows up. Don't let your hands move. Yeah, don't let your hands move. Elbows come up, and that might feel a little bit meh, possibly, just to me. And then let your head lift as well. Be nice to your neck. So you're just looking up. It's just that alternate position. Same thing, big breath in. And then release. And you're going to release that one because I'm more interested in the downward one. And then I'm going to switch arms. And that will feel really funky because you have a stronger arm. So reaching around as far as you can, same thing. Nod the head, round the spine over. Breathe into the back of the ribs. You're trying to really expand into the ribs. And then straighten back up. Lift the elbows as high as they'll go without letting the hands move. You can lift the chest as well, lifting the chin. Same thing, just try a couple of deep breaths there. Good. Nicely done. And then release. Good. And give your shoulders a little bit of a wiggle, particularly if that felt a little bit tight around the back. Okay, so we're going to come to lying on the floor, which at this time of night is actually not a bad thing for some of us, is it? So if you want to grab your towel to rest your head on, you're more than welcome. And I would go with your towel lengthways because we're going to be taking the arms overhead. So it's just something to rest your head on. And then we're going to be lying on the floor, but I'm coming to you so you can see what I'm doing with my hands. So I've clasped my hands together. This is a no-brainer. Most people have done this before. You turn the hands over and then you stretch, and then we're going to take the hands overhead. But can you see how my little finger and my ring finger have come apart? So I've frayed at the seams, right? So the rules are that you cannot show space between your fingers. So I'm trying to get my hands flat. So I'm trying to get rid of this curve here. I'm trying to get the hands flat, but not at the expense of fingertips coming away from each other. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'm going to press my thumbs together and I press the hands away, but I don't want to see any daylight. Yeah. And those of you did it last time are already there, ready to go. So lie yourself down on your back, knees bent. Give yourself a fighting chance. And then take the hands to the ceiling, clasp the hands, turn them over, and you're looking straight up at them so you can see if there's any daylight between your fingers. And then from there, you're going to take an inhale into the rib cage as you take the arms back overhead. Now, the rules are you can only go as far back as you can keep the fingers together, because there'll be a as you take the arms back, your fingertips will, or your fingers will want to unravel. So you've got to keep them squeezing together, pushing away. And then we're going to exhale and come back. So I'm going to speed that up a little bit because you were probably short of breath there. In fact, you might have passed out. All right, so inhale as the arms go back. And exhale as the arms come forward. Inhale as the arms go back. And you might need more than one breath. That's okay. You might want to exhale as you get back there. Inhale. And then exhale to come forward. I'm going to do one last one. Keeping the fingers squeezing together. And then bring them back. And then don't let your hands go.
I have a question.
Of course you do, Charlotte. Come on.
I have a question. Why are my wrists hurting?
Probably because you did animal flow with me this morning. Because mine are as well. Yeah, probably because you did animal flow. So this exercise, you know, when we do the wrist warm-ups in the morning, this is that exercise that opens out the side of the wrist. For those of you that don't do the other stuff with me, that'll probably be why it's nipping a bit, Charlotte, just because we've done quite a lot on the wrist today. All right, so you've got your hands in that position, you're going to clasp them the other way. What I would suggest you do is, as you unravel them, just move your fingers down one or up one, depending. Yeah. So you've got your non-dominant way of clasping your hands. It will feel really odd. Or it does to me anyway. I might be projecting there, but it feels really odd. So the same thing, push the hands up to the ceiling, try and get rid of the bowl shape. So your hands are trying to be flat. But now I can see daylight when I do it this way, which tells me just how tight my fingers and hands are in this position. But we do the best we can. So same again, we take the hands overhead and then bring them back. And you're just going to combine that with the breath. And I'm just going to come and have a shuffle at what everybody's doing. And some of us are more bending than others. So just remember to breathe. There's no real fancy breathing pattern. I am trying to encourage you to open into the ribs because that helps open the shoulders. But it's mainly about just breathing. Nicely done. I'm going to make that your last one. And then bring the hands up to the ceiling. You can release the arms down. So from there, I'm going to come towards you. So for me, I'm rolling to my left side and bringing my right leg over. If you want to carry on facing the camera, roll whichever way leaves you facing me. But essentially, if I straighten both legs out, I bring one leg into the chest. I'm going to roll that leg all the way over. So I'm rolling onto my side until the knee touches the floor. It doesn't need to be high. It can be about waist level. wherever it gets to, but make sure the knee's on the floor, and the knee's going to stay on the floor. Yeah. The opposite, oh, well, it's the same hand as the top leg. So the hand goes up to the ceiling, the one that can, because you're lying on the other one. And then we're going to open the arm to the side. So this is, most of us will have done this at some point, taking the arm out. But there's a tendency to allow the arm to just be floppy. What I want you to think about, instead of just taking the arm out to the side, which might actually get to the floor, I want you to think about taking your shoulder blade at the back to the floor. So you can look in the direction that you're rotating, but you want to see if you can get your shoulder blade towards the floor, not just let the arm be floppy. So we get as far as we get. Some of us will be bendier than others. And then the same thing again, use the breath to open into the ribs. So if it's your right ribs that are on top, you want to try and breathe into that side of the body. And each time you exhale, just allow yourself to twist that little bit further if you can. So inhale into the ribs, and then exhale, relax into the stretch just that little bit more. Now, one last breath. And then bring the arm back to the ceiling. So you're untwisting first, and then we'll go to the other side. So both legs out straight, rolling back onto your back, both legs out straight, opposite leg up towards the ceiling. We're going to roll all the way over until that leg hits the floor, knees on the floor. And then your free hand up towards the ceiling, and start to open the chest up to the ceiling, but thinking more shoulder blade down to the floor rather than floppy arm. Same thing, breathe into the top ribs on the inhale, and on the exhale, see if you can go a little bit further. You can make this a little bit more strenuous by placing your bottom hand on your knee and almost pulling that leg forward and down. So you're really opening out the chest. And hold it there and breathe. Nice big breaths. That's the main thing. Remember, the rib cage helps to mobilize the spine. So if you could get the ribs to move, it's going to help you mobilize your spine, which will help with neck issues. And it'll help give your shoulders some space as well. And then release, roll back onto your side, release that top arm. And you're going to come back, or you're going to come onto your back. So this one's slightly different. This is a bridge. So before we get into the shoulder aspect of this bridge, let's just have a recap. So you need to get rid of whatever's under your head, because when you lift the hips up, it's going to compromise your neck position. So get rid of your headrest if you've got one. I should have put my bobble somewhere else, but there it is. Right, so hip distance apart with the feet comfortably close to your bottom. It's about the shoulders, not the bridge, but we want to get into a half decent bridge. So from where you are there, lift the hips up. And then if you can see me, great, or if this makes sense, if you lift too far, your chest will come up towards your chin. That's you overarching your lower back, right? So it's you trying to use your lower back to get into your bridge instead of your glutes and hamstrings. So you want to drop your chest away from your chin. So I've got space. So I'm more open across the hips and I'm more working into the glutes and the hamstrings rather than arching the lower back and letting everything dangle. Yeah, so it's that closing of the rib cage. But otherwise, it's just a bridge, just a bridge. And then lower back down. So that's essentially what we're going to be doing. So you're going to put one hand on top of the other underneath your lower back. So the backs of my hands are going to be one hand against my waistband on my lower back and the other hand underneath that. and I'm up in my bridge. And then you want to drop your elbows towards the mat to start with. So it's almost like I'm resting my body weight, if you like, on my hands, but you've got total control about how much body weight you put on there. So I'm pressing my elbows into the mat, my hands up into my waistband of my pants or lower back, and then I'm letting my weight sink onto my hands, but I'm not allowing my hands to lower. Yeah. So I'm pushing up with the hands and resting a little bit of body weight on the hands. And what's this doing? You're essentially, I wouldn't call it a stretch because you're not moving, but you stretching in inverted commas into your shoulder capsule, so right into the joint. And you just hold and breathe. Same thing, trying to breathe into the ribs. We're not going to be here long because it's a big thing into your joint. And they're going to release the hands out from under your lower back and lower the hips down. And then try and remember which hand was on top because we're going to do the opposite hand. So for me, it was my right hand against my butt, my left hand underneath that. I'm going to switch over. So lift the hips up again. If you can remember which hand was which, swap them over because it's just a slightly different sensation. Drop the elbows down to the mat. Press the hands up into your body and then gently put some weight down. Doesn't need to be a lot. Like I say, you've got total control over how much you want to feel this, if you like, but otherwise you hold and make sure you're breathing. Just as an added nuance, if you think about your shoulder blades or the backs of your shoulders, see if you can push the backs of your shoulders down into the mat as well as the elbows so that you're opening the front of the chest that little bit more. And you breathe. And then same thing, bring the hands out from under the body and release the hips down. So those of you who've done any kind of Pilates class or possibly yoga might have done this already, but it's a bridge where we peel the spine up. So there's value to a bridge where you just pick the hips up. That's a lot of work for the hips and glutes. It's a nice bridge. And then there's value to the rolling of the spine off the mat, like you're trying to pick up your vertebrae one at a time, like a string of pearls, all these wonderful cues. So as you lift the spine up this time, curl the tailbone under and roll the spine up off the floor. And I'm not too bothered about the up bit, it's the going back down bit. As you go down, can you place like the backs of your ribs down, bra strap, mid back, and then finally the lower back, and then the pelvis. Almost like I say, you're trying to place the spine down one vertebra at a time. Roll up and roll down. Okay, so adding in the shoulder aspect to this then. Roll the spine up, hold at the top, take the arms overhead. Now, backs of the hands to the floor. Hopefully, you'll be able to get your arms down to the floor. So I've got backs of the hands down, my watch is on the floor, and I'm trying to get as much of my arm down as possible. I'm going to reach the arms away, but keep them there so they're still on the floor. Press them down. And then you want to roll the spine down. So I can feel my body weights right on the shoulders, right? I'm right up on the shoulders. I'm going to try and get my shoulder blades down. Back of the ribs, bra strap-ish. And then there's going to come a point for me, which is about now, where my arms start to want to lift. And I'm about, I don't know, I'm not even on my lower back. So that's me. And then I'm going to roll the spine back up. So the idea is that you only come down as far as you can keep your arms down. So you're essentially stretching the spine between your hips and your fingertips. So reach the fingertips, start to roll the spine down as far as you can until you feel your hands are getting light on the floor, and then roll back up. Same again, reach the hands away, press the arms down into the floor, roll the spine away, and then roll back up. Press the arms, reach them away, rolling the spine down. Do one more when you're ready. Oh, some nice bridges there, chaps. Well done. Good. So each time you reset, reach the arms away, press them down into the floor, and then roll the spine away. Very good. When you get to the bottom on this one, you can bring your arms overhead and release them down to the mat for a moment. Good. And then just have literally just have a moment there. Just let your body be heavy. If your legs want to flop about the place, that's okay. And just give your brain and your body a chance to process the work that we've already done. You're going to get this video anyway, so you can pick out, you don't have to do it all. It's like I say, 90 minutes is a lot. You can pick out the bits that kind of work for you, or the bits that feel nice. It's always a good thing when you're doing stretchy stuff. All right, so seeing as we're down on the mat, you can have your knees bent, feet flat. You don't need anything under your head at the moment. You grab hold of your head. So this is not, if I sit up so you can see, I'm not doing like a crunch. I want to grab my head with my elbows or my biceps almost like touching my cheeks. So I'm in this kind of, I don't know, it's like your brace position, isn't it? It's a brace position on a plane. When they go, in the event that we land on water, at which point everybody laughs, you're in that brace position. So take hold of your head in the brace position. So like I say, this is not an abdominal exercise, right? You want to feel like you're using your arms to lift your head up off the floor. So essentially, I'm going to nod my chin to my chest. I'm going to use my arms to pull my chin to my chest, and then I'm going to roll up. You can hear it in my voice. I've probably got 23 chins, but I'm rolling up and using the arms to stretch out the back of the neck, and then rolling all the way back down. Be nice to yourself, yeah, especially if you've got like if you've got a sore neck. This might actually feel nice if your neck's a bit tight, but if it doesn't feel nice, then feel free to skip it. Like I say, we're not going to be here very long. Rolling up and down, and we're just going to do one more nice and slow. Use the arms. This is an upper back stretch, not a neck stretch, believe it or not. And then roll all the way back down. And you can release the arms. So just coming up to seated, just do it in seated. And you'd have your legs wherever you want. I'm choosing cross-legged just because it's comfy. You can be legs akimbo, wherever you want to be is absolutely fine. And again, if you need to sit on your towel, just lift your hips up. If it's comfy, that's fine. I'm going to turn sideways on so you see what I'm doing. We're doing the same thing here. So I'm going to start nice and tall. The same thing, I'm going to take hold of the head. I'm using because I'm not lifting this time, so I'm not fighting gravity. Don't pull your head forward. Use the arms just as a little bit of extra weight. That makes sense, yeah? So we've changed our angle to gravity. So yes, I'm holding the head, but this time I'm just allowing the weight of my arms to pull me over. Slumping forward. Very nice to yourself, very nice to yourself. So it's actually about the upper back more than the neck. But if you tight down the back of the neck, I've been doing a lot of computer work today, you might get a nice stretch at the back of the neck, but be nice to yourself. The only way I can describe it. And then restack your spine. It makes me talk funny. Same thing, easy. And this time, as you slump, instead of slumping forward, see if you can slump slightly backwards. So I'm tucking the tailbone under. I'm almost creating like I don't know, I'm like a little hammock shape. I'm going to reach my elbows forward. And then going to restack. And same again, just let the arms go, give everything a little bit of a twirl and a wiggle. Just loosening stuff off. And then we're going to change the focus somewhat. We're going to come over into probably one of my favorite exercises ever, the rhomboid push-up. You can't do any shoulder work without doing the rhomboid push-up. In fact, you can't work with me full stop if you don't do the rhomboid push-up. So it's about moving the shoulder blades. We're trying to get the shoulder blades to move independently of the rest of the body or the rest of the arm. So you're going to come to all fours and turn this way to start with. So, you know, usual all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. So you're not crunched up, get nice and long through the spine. And I'm going to come a little bit closer and I'm going to let my head hang so you can see what I'm doing with my shoulder blades. So my elbows are going to stay straight. And I'm going to allow the shoulder blades to come together. So squeezing the shoulder blades, that's all it is. And then I push the floor away and they go wide. But I'm not pushing the floor away that much that I come up into a cat-cow. I'm just shoulder blades wide, shoulder blades together. Shoulder blades wide, shoulder blades together. Yeah, I'm going to back off a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Well done. We want to try and get as much movement through the shoulder blades as we can, because if the shoulder blades don't move particularly well, then the shoulder joint itself, where your arm sits in the socket, has to work a little bit harder. So we want them all to be free. Sometimes they get stuck together. So when you use your shoulder socket, so the ball and socket, the shoulder blade gets involved, and you should be able to use both independently. So assuming that we've all kind of got some reasonable movement through the shoulder blades right now, I'm just going to add in a little bit extra. Your elbow pit is the line, the crease. Can you turn your elbow pit forward? So elbow pits are pointing forward. I'm just spinning my elbows to you and then continuing the movement there. It should work a little bit differently. It's just a change in the angle of the arm bone in the socket. I'm just going to do one last one, just so I know you've got the movement, and then you're going to release, and you can come off your wrists for a moment, particularly if you've already done a session with me today and your wrists are a little bit grumpy. Give them a little bit of a wiggle. And then we're going to come into, so the reason why I'm doing that part first is because most people, when they do some kind of push-up, will collapse into the shoulders first. And planks, those kinds of things, they'll collapse into the shoulders. So you want to feel like your shoulder blades are staying wide on your back, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So this is a forearm push-up. You will know you've got this right because you won't be able to do it. It's really hard. You'll know you're cheating if it feels really easy. So the cheat for it, and you can practice so you know what you're doing for the cheat, is to shift your body weight back as your elbows bend towards the mat. And it's like, oh, it's a doddle. Look at me smiling and talking through it as I do that. You know who you are. Right, so your body weight stays forward and the elbows bend back. So I'm dropping my nose straight down. Welcome to your triceps. And what I'm trying to do is keep my shoulder blades wide. So the first thing I definitely do not do is sag into the shoulders and then bend the elbows. Just the elbows bending, nothing else moves. Slow and then push the floor away. And you only go down as far as you can control it. Yeah, well done. So your cheats for this are to allow the elbows to come out to the side. No, no, no. Or to shift your weight back. So go super slow, bend the elbows back towards your knees. You should feel a lot of work in your tricep muscles back to the upper arms, and then push the floor away. Super slow. Remember to breathe. You still breathe into your rib cage as you do this. Super deep breaths. And let's go one last time. And push the floor away. Where your hands are, put your elbows. Yeah, put your elbows. So palms are flat to the mat to start with. You've got some loose skin on your elbows, so you should be able to feel, you can pull your elbows towards each other. Yeah, you'll feel the skin move. but I'm trying to, almost like I'm trying to grab hold of my mat and put a crease in it. So I'm hugging the elbows in towards each other. And then I'm going to sink the hips back, but keep hugging the elbows towards each other. It's the hugging of the elbows that will give you that sense of stretchy kind of stuff in the mid back. Keep hugging the elbows. They'll want to just flap out. If you relax your elbows out to the side, you'll get some stretch, but not as much. So hug the elbows and then hold it back there and then try and breathe into the back of the rib cage. Again, doesn't matter if you are exactly getting that or not. It's more a case of you are taking some deeper breaths, which in turn will open the ribs. You can rest the head down. Keep hugging the elbows. You've got one more breath. And then coming back up. And we're going to come back to our rhomboid push-up. So this time, I want you to find, so can you create a right angle with your middle finger and your thumb? So middle finger and thumb at a right angle. When you put your hands down this time into all fours, don't let your thumb creep back in. So you can put your hands down. My thumb's already wanting to move. And then I'm going to come forward. So I take my body weight and I organize the legs so I'm in all fours. Shoulder distance apart with the hands. You'll probably feel how your thumb is busting to twang inwards towards your index finger. Try not to let it. And then as an added challenge, can you then spin your elbow pits forward without letting your thumb get involved? So this is how your hand tension can affect what goes on at the arms and the shoulders. So you probably find that your thumb's creeping in and it's a lot harder to turn the elbow pits out. Do the best you can with the hand position, keeping the fingers nice and spread, and then see if you can just come into that rhomboid push-up again. We're not going to do many because I want to add on to this. So chest sinking, elbows straight, and then pushing the floor away. And then pause for a moment. So you're going to add in an elbow bend. So I've been banging on about keeping the elbows straight. When the elbows are straight, that's easy. Yeah, easier. Let's put it that way. If I put a bend in the elbow, I'm going to show you what I mean. So I can actually bend the elbow and turn sideways on so you can see how much of bend I've got. So my elbows are bending back, but only a slight bend. My thumbs, I've had to abandon ship with my thumbs. They will not stand for me being able to bend my elbow. They'll bend out to the side, but they won't bend backwards. So my thumbs have started to creep in, so hand tension. But you want to look at your elbows and then stabilize your elbows and do your rhomboid push-up. So in other words, can you stabilize two joints at the same time? And the answer might be a resounding no, and that's okay, right? So the elbow doesn't move. The bend stays the same. So it doesn't matter how much of bend it is. I could bend them right down here and try it there. Much harder. Or a slight bend. All the angles have value. And do one last one and then come off your hands, and they might need a little bit of a shake or a little bit of TLC, depending on how tight you are through your hands and fingers. I spend too much time doing this. But much like your feet can affect your hips, your hands can affect your shoulders. It's the same sort of concept. Right, okay, so let's go palm up shoulder stretch then. So from that all fours position, just so we can get a decent setup, where your hands are, you put your elbows, same thing. This time, turn this way so you can see. This time we're going to go palms up. All right, so flip your hands over. The elbows want to pull towards each other, and you're trying to get your thumb on the floor. Right, so if your thumb won't touch the floor, Don't let it come up any further. If your thumb can touch the floor, start to sink the hips back. We can all sink the hips back. You're only going as far as you can whilst keeping the thumb down. I'm just coming to keep a beady eye on you. And that might not be very far at all. Yes, this is how much tension you've got in the hands, wrists, and forearms dictate how much range of movement you've got in the shoulders. So we're breathing as we hold it there. I'm trying desperately to keep my thumb on the floor and pulling my elbows towards each other. This should not be an easy hangout position. This should be a pretty much, if you weren't all on mute, there'd be somebody shouting at me position. And then slowly release, come back out of that, and you can sit up for a moment and just kind of wriggle about. So you're getting into some of the more, I don't know, tricky stuff. Tricky on your body, not particularly on your brain, I suppose. Oh, the rotation, I nearly forgot. Right. So we've been on all fours. We've just come up off our elbows. We're back to all fours. Let's sink you can go feet and knees together or a little bit apart with the legs, whichever. Hello, you. You have to get involved, don't you? You try not to squash your cat. So I'm sinking my bottom onto my heels. Getting kisses from the cat, which is always nice. And then I'm going to bring my right hand behind my head. So without moving my hips off my heels, I'm going to turn and I'm trying to get my armpit to the ceiling. Don't crank your neck, right? So you're not pulling on your head. I'm not lifting the elbow up. I'm trying to get my armpit to open to the sky. So I can forget the neck, I forget the hand, armpit. Make it about the armpit. And then we release back down. So I'm going to take that right elbow across to the opposite wrist, if the cat will let me. And then open back out again. Twisting up towards the ceiling. You can let your neck look upwards, but again, be nice to your neck. No cranking. You're trying to rotate from the chest. Same thing, touch the opposite wrist or forearm with the elbow, and then open out to the side. Still breathing. No special breathing, just make sure you are. Got one more to do. Touch the elbow down, and then opening out. And come back to center and release, and we'll do the other side. So right hand comes down, left hand gently behind the head, no weight through the hand. Think armpit. So twisting, opening the armpit to the sky. Oh, and this is where you really realize where you've got one side that's less awesome than the other. You might find you're super tight on one side. Gillian, I'd be interested to know if it feels super tight on one side, the side that you don't do your golf swing on. I don't have that excuse. I don't play golf, so I have no idea why one side's tighter. Let's do one more. Stake it up. And release back down. And again, just you can come to go toes together, knees apart, and just sink down into a child's pose. You've just got a brief moment of reprieve. Just let your body be heavy and relax into a child's pose. So it doesn't matter what rotation you do, any rotation throughout the day is really valuable. We tend to lose that fairly quickly because we don't do it. And as a result, neck, shoulder, and upper back get really tight. So it's good to do some rotation throughout the day. Okay. Nice to have a furry apprentice helping out. Right, where are we up to? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, brilliant. All right. Standy up one for you. Let's get off the mat for a moment. Those of you that did this last time, this was the one where you all wanted to slap me, I think, but we're going to use our strap and we're going to come to standing. I might need to lift my camera up a tad. Cat's chasing the strap. Can we see? We can. All right, so I'm going to take hold of your strap shoulder distance apart. It's going to be behind your body, right, in a moment, but shoulder distance apart, and then take hold behind. But you want to take hold with your palms facing your body. Yeah, so I'm here, palms facing body. You can hang on to it. I was just showing you where my hands are. You're going to get me leg, aren't you? So palms are facing your body. You probably have done this at some point, but start to just lift the strap up behind you to begin with. So you're going to take it as far as it'll go and hold. While it's there, you should find that when you breathe, you can breathe into the rib cage as per. So most of you that I know, there's a couple of you here that I don't know very well. So play this one a little bit by ear, because if you get a little bit dizzy from being upside down, so just again, yeah, be sensible with it if you know that's you. So you're going to start to come over. Oops. Try not to let the strap go. I'm actually going to hold it. You're going to bend in the middle. Your knees can be soft. It's not about your legs. And you're taking the arms up and over. Same again. Just a couple of breaths. And then slowly coming back up. And just be wary if you are somebody who gets a little bit dizzy. Pause there and breathe. All right, so this time I'm going to start to tie these up. So if I come over, and you'll see what I do, this, I'm stretching out through my elbows, right? So we're going to come this time, you're going to put a slight bend in the elbow. It will completely change it. Difficult to know what you're doing while you're upside down. Get off my bloody leg, cat. So as I come over, the elbows are slightly bent. It will feel very different in the shoulder. And it's quite hard to keep them bent as well. Let the head be heavy. You might as well get the benefit of just letting the head relax so the neck gets a bit of a stretch, and then slowly coming back up. And we're not going to be here long. This is the last one I'm going to do. So just watch this. So if I'm going to turn to face you guys, so I've got my slight elbow bend and I come over, but my tendency will be to allow the tops of my shoulders to just collapse towards the mat. So what I want you to do is push your shoulders away. So the only way I can describe it is I'm trying to lift my shoulders up towards the ceiling and hold them there. Again, it becomes work then. I'm not just hanging out in a floppy stretch. I'm actually doing some work while I'm there. And it is quite a lot of work when you get it right. So slight bend in the elbows, you come over and then you pick your shoulders up towards the ceiling, but your neck should still be free. You've got breath for 1, another breath 2, one last one. And then slowly come back up. And I'm always conscious of the fact that I get a little bit dizzy. You can release your arms. I'm going to come back down to the mat. Go play with that. So let's bring our towel back for a moment. Lengthways, the way we started. Lie yourself down and just come back to that clasped hand position, the turning over and taking the arms back. Just see how it feels. Often by this point, we've got a bit of extra range of movement. It should feel a little bit easier to go back, or maybe not easy. It's still quite a stretch. But lie yourself down. Those of you that have kind of worked with me for a while, just notice if now, when you lie down, the back of your ribs and your lower back are on the mat, you might feel a little bit flatter, a little bit more grounded, which is a good thing. So the hands are turning over. You're pushing the hands away, but make sure you can't see daylight or light between your fingers. No daylight at this moment. And then start to take the hands overhead. And just see if they go that little bit further. Nice and relaxed, no force. And coming back over. So the changes for me, and this isn't everybody, I'm telling you what I'm experiencing so you can perhaps notice if there's any changes for you. My lower back is not now arched off the floor as it was when I started. So my lower back's nice and relaxed into the mat. I can feel all the back of my ribs into the mat. And I'm certainly going a lot further with the arms without having to kind of apply any force. I'm finding a lot easier to keep my hands clasped together. Overall, it just feels a little bit freer. But that's just me, and that might not be you, and that's okay. And sometimes it can take a little bit longer than sort of half an hour of work to get some change, which is fine. Okay, so turning over, you can get rid of your towel. So coming over onto your tummy, I ummed and ahed about putting this in, right? So some of you, it will be okay. And possibly for one or two of you, you might go, you don't like that one. And that's okay. You know, just skip it if it's not for you. I did and ah about it. It's not particularly difficult or anything, but it is a stretch that goes right into the joint. So we'll see. So if I'm obviously I'm laid on my tum, I'm going to take my left arm under my chest, palm up, sorry, palm down. No, palm down. We'll go palm down first. I'll change it in a minute. And then I'm lying on it. So I'm trying to lay my entire arm down on the floor. And then I'm rolling onto it. Now, again, you've got total control over how much you roll forward over that arm. Now it's not across my chest, it's more towards my throat, really. You know, I'm rolling, if I was to roll all the way onto it, it would be under my throat. So you've got total control over how much you roll onto that arm. And the same thing in just breathing. I'm using the opposite hand just as a stop. Yeah, I'm just using that under my chest to stop me rolling any further. And then I'm going to use the breath, and every exhale, I'm just going to allow myself to sink a little bit deeper onto that arm. But again, be nice and gentle with yourself. It's a deeper stretch into the joint, so we're getting into the capsule a little bit. But your whole arm should be on the floor. There'll be a tendency when you roll to kind of try and pick up the back of the shoulder. Try and keep the whole arm on the floor. One last breath. And then very gently release. We'll come up and we'll do the other side. So same thing, and reach the arm across. Use the other hand for a little bit of support and lay the entire arm down. And I'm going to roll slightly. Like I'm trying to take my chest towards the floor. See, this side for me is better. I don't feel the other side's quite uncomfortable. And that's my dominant arm, my left arm. This side I can kind of hang out here. It's quite nice. Breathe in. Feels like a stretchy stretch on this side. The other side, it feels a bit. Ugh. So I was nice and gentle on the other side. I'm being a bit more aggressive on this side. I'm pressing down onto it and really stretching in. And then very gently again, lift yourself up out of that. Oh, and push yourself back up onto all fours. So coming into another stretch here. So this time, same thing, where your hands are, your elbows are going to come down. We're going to do, firstly, the same one as before with the palms up, thumbs down, pulling the elbows towards each other, sinking the hips back, letting the head hang, and taking a few breaths, trying to open up the space between the shoulder blades, back of the ribs. Think back as far as you can. Even if your thumbs are kind of coming off a little bit, that's fine. Keep just trying to push them down towards the floor. So you're not just going floppy, you are actually working to get the thumbs down, even if they're not down. And then come forward and then turn the palms over So palms are flat to the floor this time. And then I'm going to reach my right hand past my left. And it might be a little bit of overlap. I'm probably resting the heel of my hand on my fingertips. So right hand on top of left. And then I'm going to sink the hips back there. And sink my hips over to the right slightly. Let the head come through the middle. And take a few breaths. So this is more of a stretchy stretch. I'm reaching the right hand away. Over to the right with the hips slightly. And breathing into the right side of the rib cage. And coming forward, and I'm going to switch. So I'm going to bring the right hand back down, left hand in front of right. So there's that little bit of overlap, heel of hands on the fingertips, and then sinking back. Excuse me, same thing. Sinking the hips slightly to the left, and then breathing deep into the left side of the rib cage. Head through the middle, relaxing. And then slowly release out of that. I'm going to come onto your side. If you're in a sideline position, try to think. Let's go. Let's go fingertips pointing away from you. So you might not. What you just don't want to be a 90-degree angle. Just turning that arm out slightly. Doesn't matter what's going on with the legs. As it's more about what's happening with the shoulders. So just get into a comfy-ish sideline position. We're just going to make some big circles with the top arm. So palm, sort of leading with the thumb, is going to make a big circle. Upper arm towards the ear. As the arm goes past the head, lift your armpit up to the sky again. So I'm twisting the chest open, and then the arm's going all the way back around. Comes past the hip. And then you come square, so I'm facing forward again, leading with the thumb. Just a big circle. Don't need to overthink this, but as it comes overhead, open the chest to the sky. Big, 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 big circle. And one last time, leading with the thumb. Past the ear, open the chest to the sky. Stretch the arm out to the back and around. And then we're going to thread the needle. So this hand is going to thread under. You're going to go palm down, right? So it threads through, but you palm down. So go as far as you can, walk the fingers away, reach as far as you can. And then I'm leaning, in this case, back towards you, so away from my reaching fingers. So it's similar to the one that we just did when you've got your hand across your throat or your arm across your throat. Be adding in a little bit more rotation through the body this time. I'm trying to get the back of my arm and my shoulder down. Make sure you're breathing. And then slowly unravel yourself. So unknot yourself. Itching your nose is optional. And we'll switch to the other side. So just organizing the legs, relatively comfy position. Turning the arm out away from you, as long as that's relatively comfy. Don't feel like you need to overwork it. Yeah, so turn it out as far as it will go, and then same thing, leading with the thumb, and it come past the ear. As it passes the ear, open the chest to the sky, stretch the arm out behind, and circle it all the way around. So as you're doing these full ranges of movement, rotations, if you like, dodge any really nippy bits. So if you get to here and it's like, ugh, bit nippy, just come out of it a little bit and then go back. So you're dodging the nippy bits, let's call it that. Don't push yourself through anything too strenuous. Opening the chest to the sky all the way around. And then we'll do the thread the needle, palm down as it reaches to the back. So I'm threading palm down. I'm going to go as far as I can. I'm going to creep the fingers as far as I can. And then I'm leaning away from those reaching fingers. For me, my neck position, I like to look back at the fingers. That seems to make sense to my head. Or you can look down at the mat. but just make sure that your neck's free so you're not kind of overworking the neck as you try and get this rotation through the spine. And just hold and breathe. Each out breath, you're trying to sink out a little bit deeper. And then unravel yourself, so untie the knot. And come up to seated. Oh, so those of you who do my animal flow classes during whenever, the rest of the time, this one makes sense. It's our crab. We're using it as a shoulder opener today. So for those of you who haven't done it, we want to look like a capital M from the side. So my fingertips are pointing back. If it's too tricky to get your fingertips to point straight away from you, feel free to just angle them out to the side a little bit. That's okay. But I want to be a capital M from the side with my butt in the middle. Hip distance apart with the feet, shoulder distance apart with the arms. And then I'm going to slide my hips towards my heels. So I'm picking my butt up off the floor a little bit and I'm slide my hips towards my heels, which obviously leaves my arms further away from me. So it's a bit like the strap stretch we did with the strap when we stood up. You're taking your arms behind you, and then I'm going to slide my hips as far back towards my hands as I can. So now my arms look like they're vertical. So slide hips to feet, which takes me into a shoulder stretch, and then hips to hands. This time, lift your chest up. Yeah, so a proud chest, really proud chest, and keep it that way as you come forward. And if you keep your chest up, you'll feel more stretch. And then shift back. And then we've got that same thing again. You want a bend in your elbow because it's the elbow is one of those joints that we overuse if we don't have the movement in the shoulder. So put a bend in the elbow, and as you slide forward, you should feel more stretch. Pause when you get there, put your bum on the floor, and then see if you can lift the chest up without straightening the elbows. And that action of lifting the chest, like trying to point your nipples to the ceiling, that will give you that stretch down the front of the shoulder. And again, be nice to yourself. It's a biggie, or it can be. You've got total control over it though. And then shift back and the arms will straighten. We go again. So as you shift forward, slight bend in the elbow, doesn't need to be big. Once you get there, lift the chest up. Oh, take a breath in. Should find the ribs are a lot easier to expand. And then shift back and the arms straight. We're just going to do one more, only one. So as you shift forward, bend the elbow, land the hips, and then lift the chest. You know, squeeze the elbows towards each other as well if you really want to suffer, but make sure you breathe. And then shifting back. You can come off your wrists. I always get pins and needles when I'm in that position. Tension in the shoulders. But that's okay. Right, so we're going to come back onto our front. I'm going to move the cat again. The furry apprentice, the furry helper. You're coming back down onto your front. All right, so this is one of my favorite stretches, but it's another one where it's a lot, right? And we've done a lot. What are we? It's 20 past 7, nearly 25 past, right? So getting to the end of the session. So again, just play it by ear, weigh it up, right? There's no need to kill yourself. If you come back to and revisit this video, you can always come back to it and try these another day, right? So this is a biggie. You've got to be warm to do this anyway. So from where you are on the floor there, I'm going to do it my right arm. So I'm going to bring my right arm out. So if my head's pointing to 12 o'clock, my right arm's at 3 o'clock, yeah, out to the side. And it's a rotation through the spine as well. So I'm going to drop the front of my shoulder to the mat. I'm going to use the left hand to help me. So it's going to come under my chest, and I can show you a little bit. Turn sideways on so you can see. So I'm here in this position. Those of you who've already done this, feel free to get into it. Otherwise, you're going to pick up your left foot, take it over your right leg, and plant the foot down behind the knee. And you might get all the way so that my knee is pointed up to the ceiling. You might not get all the way there. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, you are where you are. So you go as far as you can, comfortably. So So I'm rolling onto that shoulder. And for some, this will be a stretch. For some, this won't feel too much. And we've got another one to do after it, so that's fine. So just holding and breathing. You can let the head hang. I kind of like to keep mine just in line with my spine. And then we're going to roll back to center and try the other side. So arm out to the side, this time 9 o'clock. Right hand comes just under the opposite shoulder just to give me some support. And I'm going to twist, taking my right leg over my left, planting the foot down. No tension in the neck or jaw, still breathing. And then slowly roll back through center. So if that was 3 and 9, like an aeroplane, I want to be sort of, I don't know, between 10-2 and 5-2 and 5 past and 10 past, like a Y shape. Yeah, so Y shape. But I'm going to do the right arm again. So left hand's under my chest, right arm's now at whatever, 7 minutes past. So it's a different angle in the socket. So again, play it by ear, nice and gentle as you go over. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm rolling. I'm taking my left leg over my right. For most of us, that will probably give us more of a stretch into possibly the bicep or the chest, maybe the front of the shoulder, sometimes the back. Charlotte, I've modified a lot of this session today to try and get some rotation in to see if we can ease off your lower back. So I hope some of this is feeling nice for you. And then slowly roll back through center and we'll go to the other side. So like I said, that Y shape, any angle, you can play with angles. You don't need to just do the numbers that I'm giving. Any angle you can kind of play with. You'll find lines of tension. But otherwise, off we go, the other side. And I was just picking these out. These are the main ones. Oh, nice and tight on the right. Again, just checking you with your neck. Make sure you can breathe. Take some deeper breaths if you can. Make sure your neck's nice and loose. She says. Easier said than done. And very gently rolling back through center. And briefly coming up. And I'm just going to set up for this next exercise. It's one of my favorites.
I'm just saying thank you for considering my lower back. Everything's fine.
You're welcome. Right. You've thrown me completely off there, Charlotte. Oh yes, the log. So you want your towel. I've got, like, it's a bath sheet. When I said a large towel, I kind of meant it. It's not the end of the world if it's only an ordinary towel. But it wants to be rolled up relatively tightly. So I want it to be as much like a solid log as we can get it. So I'm going to roll it up nice and tight. I feel like I'm on Blue Peter when I do this. This is how you do it. Here's one I made earlier. Nice tight log. And then put your log at the other side of your cat. Or you can use your cat. Cats are good for this. It's not your towel. Come on, bugger off. All right, so the towel's there to put your elbows on. I'm going to give you a very quick demonstration. Essentially, we're stretching out this side, this part of the body, so lats underneath the armpit. You're going to be in a prayer position here. My elbows are going to be on the, oh God, what's it called? The towel. It's getting late. The elbows are going to be on the towel. My bottom is going to be in the air, but I'm just giving you a demonstration of where the hands are going to be. So you're going to be in this position, which even if you do it here, you probably feel you've got a little bit of a stretch under the armpit. The thing that most people, I've not banged on too much about ribs in this session, just because I've got some new people here and it takes a bit more. Yeah, I didn't want to bang on too much about ribs, but for our purposes here, if you see what happens when I'm trying to lift my elbows up to stretch under here, watch what happens. You'll see me do this. right? So my rib cage pushes forward, and that will definitely happen when you're on the roller. So what you need to do is kind of, can you bring your ribs in, right? And if that's too much for people that have not met me before, don't worry about it too much. But for those of us that can manage the ribs, you're going to pull them in. So I'll give you a very quick demonstration. It takes a little bit of a fiddle about setting up, but sort of all fours, close to the towel. I'm going to put my elbows on it, butts in the air, like I say, palms together. Head's going to drop down, so you might just need to shuffle about a little bit until you get into position. And then I'm sinking down. Now this is me dropping my ribs and hanging out and just floppy. For me to pick my ribs up, I'm lifting them into my body. And what it should feel like, if you do that, you'll find that you get more stretch into here. If you pick the ribs up, you'll feel more stretch. That's how you know you've got it right. But don't overthink it. It's not the end of the world. You're still getting a great stretch into the shoulders. All right, so a little bit of a shuffling about to get into position. Tips of the elbows on, palms together, palms at the back of the head. Sink the chest towards the mat. Shuffle back so you can get your head through your arms. And then see if you can pick your ribs up into your body. And you should feel a big stretch into the sides. Make sure you breathe in. It's about this time me and the cat usually have a cuddle. She likes to sit down, sit on my chest. She's wondering why I'm still working on the mats. And she's now chewing my hair. So that's always a good start. Keep breathing, keep holding. Unless, like me, your arms are going numb, in which case you can come out of it. Get off. Slowly release out of that. And push yourself up off your... Just chewing my fringe. Chewing my fringe. I mean, what sort of cat does that? Bugger off. All right, so we're going to keep using the towel as it's a log, as it is now. So throughout all of this, the idea has been to create some extra range of motion in the shoulders. They might be feeling a bit grumpy. They might be feeling a little bit stiff, or they might feel great, either way. So the next step is to try and add in, so we've got whatever range of movement we've got, the next step is to try and add in some strength work at those end ranges of movement. All right, so I'm going to use the towel again. You can see where I was pressing in. On this next one, you want to try not to press. You don't want to leave a divot in your towel. All right, so the towel's got to stay nice and straight. But otherwise, you're going to come down onto your front. So you're going to be arms out overhead with the wrists just resting on the towel, thumb up, and we're going to be lifting the arms up off the towel. So depending on how big your towel is, one of them, you've got control over it again. You can make your towel smaller just by unraveling it. All right, so it's not as hard. But we'll see how we get on. The idea would be to eventually work to being straight overhead, so shoulder distance apart. That can be a little bit tricky to start with. There's nothing wrong with going a little bit wider. Yeah, depending on how long your towel is, of course. All right. But otherwise, I'm going to have the wrists on the towel. The rest of you is out long, nice and loose through the lower back and the glutes. You don't want to be tensing anything. We're working the shoulders, not your butt and your lower back. And the head in line with the arms. So I'm not dropping it through. It's in line. And then from there, just the right arm to start with. So all I'm going to do is pick up my right wrist off the roller or towel and then release it back down. So it's all about control. Left, lift it up. You might find you've got one that's better than the other. And then release it down. On this next one, pay attention to what happens when you lift the right hand up. So as you lift the right hand, do you get really heavy through the left hand? Can you go light on the left? So you're not just hammering the left hand in to get the right hand up, lower down. Same on the left, pick the left up, try not to press down hard with the right wrist. and release. As you pick up the right, just check in. Are you squeezing your butt cheeks together? Are you cheating with your glutes to try and get the wrist up? Relax your lower back, relax your hips and release. Left side. So we're trying to isolate the movement at the shoulder and release. And then let's go both together, nice and gentle. So all about the control. Don't throw them up. Slowly lift them, and they might just hover. We hold 3, 2, 1, and then release down and relax your entire body. You could take your hands off your towel, rest your forehead on the backs of your hands, and just rock the hips from side to side. Take a few deep breaths. Just let your body be heavy and chilled out for a moment. And then we're going to swim the arms from beside you. So it's just a movement. You're going to be palms down. It's getting late. I'm losing the ability to A, speak and B, teaching any kind of coherent fashion. So my nose is pointing towards the floor, but my head's hovering, and my hands are palms down on the floor. So from there, you're going to pick the hands up off the floor, nice and high, without lifting your chest or your nose. And then you're going to swim the arms around over the towel. So the arms are coming out to the side like an aeroplane, all the way around overhead. And the idea would be to miss the towel and bring the thumbs together and then swim them back. And this is where most people would bring the height of their towel down. Go again, swim the arms, skim the top of the towel, bring the thumbs together if you can, and then swim them back. Nice and slow, very good. One last time. Gillian's just sat watching. She's like, nope, I'm done now. I don't blame you. Bring the thumbs together and then swim them back. Nice. One last time. Check in with your neck. It's the neck that'll be creeping up towards you. Well, your shoulders will be creeping up to your ears. Try not to get the neck involved. Once you finish that last one and your arms are back down by your sides, release the arms down, bring the hands under the forehead and just have a moment. Or you could just lay like David is, like just like he's been shot. That's a good rest position like that. I get the impression, David, you might not move when I give you this next instruction. You might just stay there. Okay, so that was your last strength one. We are nearly done. We are nearly done, I promise. Just come back ever so briefly to all fours. And it's a loose all fours, right? I'm not doing anything with the shoulders, the arms. I'm just kind of hovering in a relaxed fashion in this position. And then just let your head hang towards the floor. And just take a couple of deep breaths. Notice whatever you notice. There's no effort here, really. I'm using gravity to just allow the back of the neck to lengthen. I'm going to turn this way so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to shake my head no, nod my head yes, shake my head no, nod my head yes, but all the while just letting it hang. So I'm trying to release all tension, the back of the neck, and just let gravity have its way. Make sure you breathe in. And then you can sit back off your wrists. Nicely done. Okay, so I'm not going to pretend that all of a sudden you're going to have full range of movement if you take your body against a wall. I'm just interested more than anything else. So I'm blocking my movement. I've got my shoulder and my hip against a wall. I'm just interested to see, well, it does go behind. I've got a bit of extra movement. I'm quite pleased with that. and sometimes takes me longer. I tend towards stiffness rather than flexibility. So it takes me a while to get my shoulders to do what I want them to do. Just have a play at the wall to see if it notices any difference. Bit of a difference, Jill? Marvelous.